Welcome to Speak for Yourself, Marcel Swally. Elated.
I'm happy for you, Sal.
Oh, really?
I don't get any joy when you get a defeat, so I'm happy for you, big dog.
Oh, man, you better feel good for your boy. Joey and I are rocking the same colors. Colors Clip City, Chip City. Let's start off in L.A. with the only team in town still playing, keeping the lights on in Staples Center, who had a huge Game 7 Sunday against the Mavericks. And they came out on top. Luka Doncic, though, still a beast, had a game-high 46 points, but it was a team effort for the Clippers. Kawhi Leonard led the way, 28 points, and overall 7 players, I said 7, were in double digits. LA came back from a 2-0 series deficit to advance to the second round and face the Utah Jazz tomorrow. So, Acho, fix your face. Have the Clippers put all concerns to rest?
Sir, no, sir.
No?
No.
Where's that pillow that you had that you were talking about resting on? I need that clip. I'm sorry, I had to get that one out first.
Kudos to you and your squad, my dog. I'm happy for you.
Yes,
At least we still got some positive energy, positive vibes on this set, all because of you. They haven't put all concerns to rest, but I'm not going to take this time to try to discredit the Clippers because what they did was truly amazing.
Okay.
My biggest concern was this. Do you actually care? Right, so the Kawhi Leonard PG, do you actually care? Don't say, oh, well, they're in the NBA. Of course they care. You play with several superstars. I played with several superstars in the National Ball League. Not everybody cares just because they're in the league. Some are just crazy talented. It's like, do you actually care that you take a loss? So I was genuinely concerned. They put that one to rest.
Okay.
Because Kawhi has his chill demeanor. He is so nonchalant. He's so poised. It's hard to know if he cares or not. It's not an indictment on him caring. It's just hard to tell. Sal, you know when you're rapping with a friend, it may be a significant other, and they do not care about words of affirmation. So you might send them a picture of your fit. Hey, how you feel about this? Oh, man, I love that color. And it's like, no, but how do I look, right? Like, they need to constantly remind you that you look good just because they might not say it a lot. That's the thing with Kawhi.
I feel you.
Like, Kawhi has to remind me constantly that he cares because he doesn't show it a lot. Remember Game 6, he hits a dagger 3 to take the Clippers up by 8.
I remember.
Everybody chest bumping, clapping, and Kawhi just like stoically walks over to him. I'm like, bruh, do you not care? And it's not that he doesn't. It's just his demeanor. So Game 7 reminded me, especially after PG, after they went down 2-0, was like, yeah, I'm not really worried about things. I was like, bruh, do you not care? But no, after seeing Kawhi drop 45 Game 6, after seeing Kawhi drop another 29, I believe, yesterday, after seeing PG give you 28 and 10 yesterday, when he was scoreless in the first quarter but backdoored with 13 in the second quarter, I was like, yes, you care. Primary concern is no longer there. But you asked me, have they put all concerns to rest? They haven't. And I'm going to go here, and then I'm going to pass the baton to you. Remember, I listen to you, big dog. I got small ears, but they work. And months ago, you told me, I think there was a story of you in your Cowboys days. I'm not going to reiterate it with the name.
Cowboys
but I'm
day.
just going to...
Don't make that plural. That was one day.
You told me this, and then I'm done. I'm done after this one.
Okay.
But you told me this. Quarterback dropped back to pass, and he threw a great pass. Receiver sprinting, makes a diving fingertip catch.
I know where you're at.
And everybody's like, ooh, what an amazing catch that receiver made. But the coach said, if he would have run faster, he wouldn't have to die for it. That's how I look at the series, Sal. Ooh, Game 7, what an amazing performance. Marcus Morris, 23 points in a closeout game. What an amazing performance. Kawhi, PG, Ty Lue. He's been undefeated now in elimination games. Red Auerbach, him and Ty Lue, the only coaches to start 4-0 in elimination games. What an amazing performance. But then you say, wait a second. Why were y'all in a Game 7 versus the Mavericks? If you would have run faster, you wouldn't have had to die for it. If you would have played better, you wouldn't have had to go down to Game 7. So for that reason, they haven't put all concerns to rest, but they did put some.
I'm going to work with you, big dog. To me, they put all concerns to rest, but I got to put all your concerns to rest as well in helping you out. I love that last story, but Kwame Brown has reminded me and everyone in this business to be more responsible with your platform. So I'm going to be more responsible with my platform. That didn't happen in Dallas. That happened in Jacksonville. And that was Jack Del Rio in training camp. I had to call you out, Coach, because it was an amazing moment, and it taught me a lot. So let me talk about what you're talking about.
Yes, sir.
You went there on our star players. You went there on Kawhi robotically running down the court. You went there on PG, and you said, do they care? And you know how you talk. You repeat, do they care? You talk with your hands, boy. I see them Lexus commercials. Do they care? That little girl, what other commercial you got? Little girl looking at you like, man, what you doing? Go to your car. Anyway, I love it. I watch it all the time because it comes on all the time. You making money. Here's the thing. We care. We just don't worry. Ooh, Acho. You bar. Oh, Acho. Sabar. A lot of people in this world get caught up in the production of concern. Not the concern, the actual merit-based concern of that moment. Just the production. I got to look like I care more than I actually do. Kawhi Leonard, I just heard him post-game, and he talked about this. Ramona Shelburne, my girl. Ramona over there at the Four Letters. Tremendous respect for her. Asked Kawhi, you talk about being in these moments before, but not using those moments as confidence-building moments. Basically, Kawhi said, look, I don't give a damn how well I've played in Game 7s before. He said, you can play great in 9 Game 7s, but the 10th one is not guaranteed to play great. So he said, in these moments, once I do something, it's a wrap. That's already in the bucket. I'm looking forward. So when you don't see Kawhi Leonard go out there with the production of concern or all of those emotions that everyone else is exuding, it's because he's already moved on to the next play. Kind of like Barry Sanders. I played against Barry Sanders. Had a poster of Barry Sanders in my grandmother's living room. Why? Because as a rookie, I had a solo tackle on Barry Sanders. I would have took that over the check that week. Like, I was like, this is money.
Big deal.
Big deal, right? But Barry Sanders, no matter highs or lows, moved on in that robotic production of concern he never concerned himself with. Let's talk about why this team did put all concerns to rest. One, everyone was saying the Clippers can't hold a lead. We did something even better than that. We didn't even have a lead. And we showed our character, our resolve, coming from a deficit and showing how we're built internally. Two, now that we've been through something, we're going to be tough to deal with, if not impossible. But Kawhi Leonard didn't prove anything to me. Kawhi Leonard is a multiple champion, multiple finals MVP. What the hell were y'all doubting and thinking? Ty Lue, though, let's give him his flowers. Ty Lue has been in this situation before. You brought up Red Auerbach and all that. Let's talk about just him going with LeBron James against Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors, bringing that juggernaut down. You know how he did it? Rich Paul brought this up to me. Tremendous. We went tangent. Rich Paul and I got on the phone for about an hour and a half. Respect to that dude. I need to hang with him a little more. Damn it. He had me thinking. He talked about how Ty Lue before had been in a position where when he saw Steph Curry coming, he said, throw him in the pick and roll. Throw him. Let's beat him down. Let's wear him out. He going to make his shots. Luka's going to make his shots, but is he going to wear down? Did Luka Doncic every game start fast and end a lot slower? Wore him down. Ty Lue deserves his flowers because he knew you couldn't stop Luka. He knew you couldn't even slow Luka down, but he knew you could wear him down. And in the 7-game series, he wasn't going to have it at the finish line.
Okay, go there. Because when you talk about concern, what concern do we still have for the Clippers? One, you knew Luka is that dude. I need you to do more than allow Luka to be the youngest player in NBA history to average 35 points in a playoff series. Like, whenever you win in sports, not just basketball, in any sports, sometimes you graze over where you should have and could have been better. Let's not graze over the fact that Luka, who is an assassin, still put up 35 on average points per game, the most all-time for a kid 22 years old. Let's remember, Devin Booker still exists and is still out there in the Western Conference.
I'm listening.
Let's remember, Spidey Mitchell still exists and is still out there in the Western Conference. Let's remember, the Joker puts up on average just 35, 11, and 9, and we don't even talk about it because he's a big man and it's not sexy, but when Luka does it, oh, hail Luka. Let's remember, all these teams still have great still. If you can't make a team play left-handed, a la taking away their best player or at least trying to limit them to a degree, that to me is a little cause for concern. But then the bigger thing, you talked about wearing down. Western Conference, let's look at which teams have the most minutes played of players. Kawhi Leonard, Paul George have played 40 more minutes than the next closest player, who is Devin Booker, in the Western Conference. Now, obviously, y'all played a Game 7, so it's not a statistic that is illogical. Obviously, y'all played a Game 7, but Sal, when you talk about it, they've played an additional game by minutes, not just by actuality, game by minutes than every other player. So if you want to talk about wearing down, Kawhi Leonard and PG averaged the most minutes per game of the remaining players. Now, we saw what it did to Luka. I think Luka's biggest knock, which nobody's going to talk about, I don't think he's in great shape for a great. Right, PG, bruh, he went 45 minutes in Game 6. Backdoor went 43 minutes in Game 7.
Ooh.
He was just out there, took 2 minutes rest at a time. Remember Devin Booker in Game 7 against, Devin Booker in the elimination game against the Lakers. 46 minutes, like it was nothing. So I'm just wondering, my cause for concern now with the Clippers is, are you going to have enough in the tank? Because the Jazz, if you want to talk about a team that can play defense and shoot the three, that's a team right there. Are the Clippers going to have enough in the tank?
No one has more of a team than the Clippers. It's not even close. Let's talk about the dynamic duo. And people look at Kawhi and PG and don't give them their flowers as well. Of all the teams you're going to mention, and I don't give a damn who you mention in the Eastern Conference, Western Conference, you got to respect that what's our lane. What's our lane? Utah right now, we're going to handle that. What's going forward? We don't know. But looking at these two players in the West, Kawhi, 32 average in that series. People, Luka. Kawhi, Kawhi, 32, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 61% field goal percentage, and 43 from 3. Want to know what that is? Just the second player since Shaq in the 2000 NBA Finals to average 30 on 60% shooting from the field. Y'all ain't gonna give him no flowers? Okay. Let's talk about our team, him and PG. PG averaged 24. That ain't nothing. Playoff P. That sounds like playoff P to me, 24. But more importantly, in the West, no other team has 2 guys averaging over 20 points a game. So we're top heavy compared to everything we're gonna see in front of us. Let's talk about our reserves. Why do they come into play? Because you brought up something that maybe was a miscalculation, but we've known why coaches always say, look, Luka's going to get his. Every time we play in defensive meetings, he going to get his, but shut everybody else down. You know what happened in this game? Luka got his, and everybody else got shut down. The Clippers held the Mavs bench to just 6 points. That's the lows of this season. Season worst by that team. Fewest point off the bench for the Mavs since 2010. Ty Lue was out there destroying cats at chess, and people would just laugh at him because they got a checker mindset. He was going out there saying, I know this team ain't going to finish. We can't do nothing with Luka because Luka is reading our defensive coverages to a T. But he started to show them different ones in Game 5. He put Pat Bev on the bench. Everyone gave Frank Vogel his love last year when he made some tough decisions in personnel. Give Ty Lue the same credit when he made those tough decisions. Not only him, he said, they playing big against us. They got Boban, 7'6". They got Porzingis, 7'3". They got a 6'8" point guard, point forward, whatever you want to call Luka. And we didn't even go big on big. We said, next to you, Pat Beverly, we're going to put, no. We ain't going to put you in the game. I'm sorry over there. What's my boy name from that's always hurt?
Not Reggie?
No, big boy. I'm sorry. I forget his name right now. Damn it. That's the point. Cousins, Boogie. Boogie couldn't even get in this. Boogie can't. This is Ty Lue, man. Ty Lue, a former player, a player's coach who realizes I got to make the tough decisions in personnel. All of that adds up to Ty Lue deserves his flowers because he knew that this team couldn't beat him and Luka couldn't do it by himself.
But so here's the only thing I'm going to say, and then I'm done. For real this time, is this. Y'all needed Marcus Morris to give you a career playoff game in 23 points.
We didn't need that.
You did need that.
No, we didn't.
Without Marcus Morris going 7 for 9 from 3, y'all really think y'all win that game so handedly?
Yeah.
Y'all win a game from about 15.
Was Reggie Jackson still there?
Reggie Jackson also had one of the greatest playoff series in his recent career.
So everybody can't play well.
No,
that's what you're saying.
But what I'm saying is this.
That's your bet?
Y'all go to 7, and you needed Marcus Morris to have a great career type of day, 7 for 9 from 3. Y'all go to 7, and Reggie Jackson gave you 2 20-point games in Game 5, I believe, in Game 6, and then balled out again in 7. I'm not going to say it can't happen, but you watch the other team in L.A.
Ooh.
They needed another Morris brother. He ain't show up for them. They needed KCP. He ain't show up for them. They needed Kuz. He ain't show up for them. So are you going to bank? I'm just saying, are you going to bank on, and is your confidence in the Clippers is in Morris showing up again? Is in Reggie Jackson showing up? Is that where your confidence lies? Because if Morris don't have the day he didn't have, if Morris does not have the day he had yesterday, this is a completely different show. We can talk about Kawhi all we want. We can talk about Ty Lue all we want. We can talk about PG all we want. But if Morris does not have a 7 for 9 from 3 type of day, you coming in here with a long, sad face, vastly different than the hype you came in with today.
I know you watched the games, but do you listen to the games?
Yes, sir.
Do you listen to when Jeff Van Gundy says that the Clippers are the most talented?
listen to when Mark Jackson says, "Mama, there goes that man." Absolutely.
So when you hear we're the most talented team standing in the West, we're the deepest team in the West, we have the best duo left in the West, why do you think that these are all anomalies? Like, oh, well, if they don't, they all are part of the equation. They all don't activate at the same time, but that lends itself to why we have such a deep team. Our team success over every other team is PG gonna be there. Kawhi gonna be there. I don't know why y'all doubt him. Now, who's the third? We're in the driver's seat, and I'm gonna say this right now.
You really believe
we're in the driver's seat right now? We're in a Can-Am. You know what a Can-Am is? You know, the little one-seater, 3 wheels. The 2 in the back, sturdy, stable. PG, what's up, boy? Kawhi, I see you, big dog. The one in the front, interchangeable. We don't give a damn who it could be. It could be anybody. It could be Terrence Mann. It could be Kennard. It could be whoever you want to be, Rondo. The point is, nobody else can roll like we're rolling right now. As the Dog Pound once said, I'm on top of the world. The homies with perms and jerry curls. Walking around town, got the flyest girls. Coming up, we'll tell you how much trouble the Nets are in with James Harden's latest injury, which is the same injury. But first, Julio Jones is headed to Tennessee. All right, tell you what his addition means for the Titans. That's next on Speak for Yourself. Mama, there go that man again.
Julio Jones landed in Tennessee, and Jones's days in Atlanta are over after the Titans traded multiple picks to the Falcons for the 7-time Pro Bowler. Jones is joining a Titans team that won the AFC South last season and features offensive weapons Derrick Henry and A.J. Brown. Now, Peter King said the Titans roster is a, quote, pick your poison deal, and I've never agreed with Peter King more in my life. So, Sel, what does the Julio Jones addition mean for the Tennessee Titans?
In the words of my man Anthony Anderson, makes them contender-ish. Like, you almost there, big dog. And I know everyone sees the name, as I see the name Julio Jones on the roster, and you're like, elevation, move him up a tier. Hold on, contraire, mon frere. I don't think Julio Jones will have the impact on this team as everyone is advertising, despite being still Julio Jones the Great. Let me tell you why. Let's just go back to class. For Julio Jones to have that impact, that means there has to be a void there. There is a void there, Corey Davis. But let's look at what Corey Davis did last year, and let's anticipate what we think we're going to see out of Julio Jones. Corey Davis last year, 984 yards. You blink, that's a 1,000-yard receiver. You think Julio Jones going to go for what, 15, 2,000, 3,000? What you thinking? Because to have that impact to take them to the next level, where they can even get past the teams that they couldn't get past last year, Baltimore Ravens, one and done in the playoffs, wild card round, they're going to need impact from Julio Jones, just not same old greatness. So that makes them contender-ish. The way I look at the AFC is really simple. This addition, you look at it, you got the Chiefs and the Bills, tier 1. Shut up, everybody else. As much as I love Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, that's the only team I didn't play for that I actually root for. They're tier 2. But who's in tier 2 with the Ravens? Cleveland Browns. Respect. Indy, we'll see, Carson, but y'all right there, the squad is there. Miami, 10 games, and y'all talk about Tua didn't play well, or we'll see what they do this year. And Tennessee, but they're stuck in tier 2, and they're not even top tier 2, and they're not even top of tier 2. They're still in the same place. It's just a splashier look with Julio Jones on the roster.
Okay. I like your take, but I disagree with it fervently. I think Julio Jones makes the Tennessee Titans bona fide contenders, not just in the AFC, but in the entire NFL. Julio Jones makes the Titans the most potent offense in the NFL. I say it for this reason.
Come on.
When you talk about the Chiefs, yes, they have Tyreek Hill, they have Travis Kelce. But again, you can sit in your 2 high safety looks. You can double Tyreek Hill, double Travis Kelce. You may not be able to stop them, but you at least have a game plan that's functional and that works. When you talk about the Tennessee Titans, keep 2 safeties high. Derrick Henry will do what he always does, rush for 150 yards, lead the NFL in rushing once again. Okay, bring a safety down low to stop Derrick Henry, which is what the common sense decision is. And A.J. Brown, who's gone for 2,000-yard seasons in his first 2 seasons, and Julio Jones, who led the NFL historically in receiving yards over a 6-year period, will go crazy. But the biggest issue is this. We all watched that Logan Paul-Floyd Mayweather fight yesterday. We're going to talk about that at length.
Yes, we are.
If you're Logan Paul, you'd rather fight Floyd Mayweather than fight Deontay Wilder, because though Floyd Mayweather is a better boxer than Deontay Wilder, you understand that you're not going to get bludgeoned nearly as much as fighting that heavyweight.
No.
Even if you want to disagree and argue that the Chiefs or the Buccaneers have a better offense, come that fourth quarter, like Logan Paul coming out 8th round, you're still standing when you face the Chiefs or the Bucks. But when you face the Titans, you're going to get knocked out in that 4th round because those blows hit different. See, as a linebacker, which at least I know that about, if you playing the Chiefs, you dropping back, opening up in coverage. You play the Bucks, you dropping back, opening up in coverage the majority of that game. But you playing the Titans, bite down on that chin strap extra hard. Because the first, second, third quarter are going to take a toll, and come that 4th quarter, that is really when the Titans are going to make their point. Now, the stats back me up. Titans led the league in 40-point games last year. Titans 4th in the NFL in points per game last year, 1.1 point per game behind the NFL leading Green Bay Packers. Do you not think that Julio Jones is worth more than 1.1 point a game? So for me, the acquisition of Julio Jones makes the Tennessee Titans bona fide Super Bowl contenders. Let me bring in NFL analyst Bucky Brooks. See what you got to say, Bucky.
Hey, Acho, you know what I love about you? You are the stat master. There's no one who is better with stats than Emmanuel Acho. And I love what you read out about the Tennessee Titans and what they did last year and putting up all these 40-point games and all that. But guess what? The play caller is no longer there. He's in Atlanta. And so now we got a new play caller, Todd Downing, who is in charge. You know, he called an offense only one time in his NFL career. That was with the Oakland Raiders. Derek Carr went from being a guy that was celebrated as an MVP candidate to having almost the worst performance of his career. Completion percentage went down. Touchdown to interception rate went down. His passer rating was 86.4. We're talking about someone who the season before was at 96, almost 97. So now what we're saying is we're going to give this guy all of these weapons, and we're expecting him to get it right. I don't know if we can say that the new offensive coordinator can take all these toys and make it right. To me, it's like me, you, and Marcellus playing video games. We're playing Madden. And so we all can pick the same team, but there's a different style. Are we confident that Todd Downing can play the same style that Arthur Smith did that allowed Ryan Tannehill and that offense to really flourish like he did previously?
I like that. I'm not mad at that, and you're exactly right. You change offensive or defensive coordinator, you change a team. But here is why I think the Titans are so dangerous, Bucky. As a defender, you know this, I know this, Sel knows this, and this is the one show where you got 3 people who all played the game talking at one time with no interruptions. There's no way for us to be right. If we say, hey, we're going to put 8 men in the box, we got to stop Derrick Henry. He got 200 yards in the first 3 quarters. Ryan Tannehill, downside, play action pass over the top. You're not going to leave Julio Jones one-on-one. You're not going to leave A.J. Brown one-on-one. If we say, okay, let's keep them both high, both these safeties, we need Bucky Brooks back there, we need him to help over the top. You're not going to leave Derrick Henry in a box. I'm going to simplify this, not for you, Bucky, but for everybody else. Football is just a numbers game. That is all football is. It is a game of math. How many men are in the box? Can we pass the ball? How many men are back deep? Let's run the ball. But here is what the Tennessee Titans just did by acquiring Julio Jones. They outdid the math. Derrick Henry is worth $1.5 million because a linebacker alone cannot stop him. Julio Jones is worth $1.5 million because a cornerback alone cannot stop him. A.J. Brown is worth $1.5 million because another cornerback alone cannot stop him. So while you think football is truly 11 on 11, it is not when you are now playing the Tennessee Titans. They're really sitting out there with 13 when you start factoring in how Derrick Henry takes more than one man to be stopped, how Julio Jones takes more than one man to be stopped, how A.J. Brown takes more than one man to be stopped. So regardless of the defensive numbers, regardless of the defensive scheme, you are still man down because the Titans have men that are not just your mere mortals. They got some real freakazoids out there that can win football games.
Oh, man. Look, first of all, I have to start off this layer of my take by saying, Julio, I love you.
Here it comes, Julio.
But I'm going to take a shot. Not at you, but at the impact you're going to have where you're arriving in Tennessee. This is the problem. I played against offenses like this before, and I used to play on the #1 defense in Buffalo when we used to have to go out there twice a year and look at these names. Peak game. We had to see an offense that said, oh, who's that quarterback? Peyton Manning. Who's that running back? Edgerrin James or Marshall Faulk. Okay, stop playing. All right, who's that receiver? Marvin Harris. Reggie Wayne. Golly. All right, they ain't got no tight end. Oh, Dallas Clark. And then our coaches are sitting there like, look, here's the thing. they're going to get their points. It's just facts. Like, we going to do what we do, they're going to do what they do, and they're going to do it a little better than us. But we can still win the game. More importantly, they may not necessarily win it all. All those names, add them up, when they were in Indy, I need to see your face.
Talk to me.
Playoff football, when you saw those names, how many championships in Indy? Oh, I'm sorry, I made that plural. It's only singular. One. So I'm looking at Tennessee right now like, okay, keep adding all these names up, but how many chips? I'm not even going to go there. Here's the impact. Julio Jones last year, how many touchdowns? 3. Last year, Corey Davis, 5. I know Julio was hurt, but still, the point is, you're talking about impact. Julio's more than 1.1 point. Is he? Not last year.
Come on, son. He hurt, dog. He hurt.
Look, but here's the thing about Julio. You will lose this trivia at Jalapeno Pete's, where I love to go. And somebody will say, fun fact, did you know that Julio Jones only once has had double-digit in touchdowns? Listen to this, and this, it blows your mind. 3 touchdowns last year. He was hurt. 6, 8, 3, 6.
That's fair.
8, 6.
That's
2.
fair.
Julio?
Let me ask you something. Let me do for you all what the people at home on the couch want to do, because y'all both played the game, played on defense, played longer than I did, so let's have a real conversation. Sometimes, Bucky, you know this.
This is real.
It's not necessarily the impact a player has statistically. It's just the impact of their presence. When we played against, I played for the Giants for a period. I was just on practice squad for the Giants.
Well, 1 quarter?
No, for 2 months. For 2 months. I was only there for 2 months.
All right.
I remember, and y'all will remember. Y'all remember when Deshaun Jackson picked up the ball on a punt to win the game? A primetime game. Picks it up on a punt, scores a walk-off punt return for a touchdown. That scarred the Giants so bad that when we played the Eagles, if they put Deshaun Jackson back there, just kick it out of bounds.
Facts.
It was like 4 years late. True story, Bucky.
No, that's true. That's true.
It scarred the Giants so bad that Tom Coughlin said, if Deshaun Jackson is back there, mind you, Deshaun was no longer the Eagles' punt returner. It was years later. Just kick the ball out of bounds because we're not even going to chance kicking it to Deshaun Jackson.
Ooh, that's so
Sal,
good.
I bring that up because this, and y'all all have your own personal stories. Y'all get into them if you want to. Julio Jones, just by existing, is going to say, if Julio Jones is out at the X, double team him. Just double team him. He might not even still got the juice. But if he's out there, you have to act like he has the juice, and you have to treat him accordingly. Just by acting like he has the juice will leave Derrick Henry more free in the box. Remember, the Tennessee Titans faced 8-man boxes 23% of the time last year. 8-man box for y'all at home. Just assume there's another safety in the box and assume there's another defender in the box. The box, roughly that 10-yard area closest to the football. That's what the Titans faced last year. Julio Jones and the Falcons, 8-man box only 16% of the time. So Julio Jones is now going to see single high safety coverage at least 8% more times in a game at a minimum. What is he going to do with that? So, Sal, I only bring that up to say just Julio's existence, just the last name on a jersey saying Jones and that physical presence will be a difference maker for the Titans.
Hey, look, man, I'm not going to lie. It's a problem. It's a problem. When we get into the room on Monday and we're trying to come up with a game plan to stop the Tennessee Titans, it is problematic trying to come up with a plan because A.J. Brown, Julio Jones, both are 225 pounds. If you're a cornerback trying to deal with that size, look, it's intimidating for those imposing guys on the perimeter. You got a 250-pound running back who we see each week post these videos where he's deadlifting the house. And so it's a big boy pad weekend when you're dealing with the Tennessee Titans. The problem that I go back to is the weapons are there, but are we confident that the offensive coordinator knows what to do with them? Because let's go all the way back, because I know Acho loves the Cleveland Browns and he loves Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield, the season before, he had all those weapons, but it didn't look like it looked last year when Kevin Stefanski was there. And so the play caller really, really matters. And so they have everything that you could want offensively, but can their play caller use it the right way to make this team really challenge the Kansas City Chiefs and others for supremacy in the AFC? It's all right there, but the pressure's on tied down.
But I got a question,
to be able to do it. I just don't know if he can do it.
Here's the kicker, though, Bucky Brooks. Sometimes when you are trying to create or make something, it really doesn't matter who you are if you have the ingredients. Only rare occasions, but sometimes. Bucky, it really don't matter the ratio of peanut butter to jelly. It's still gonna smack.
Oh, I don't know about that one.
It's still gonna smack.
Too much peanut butter mess that salmon.
It's still gonna smack.
That salmon take the same with too much peanut butter.
Like chicken and fried is still gonna hit. It's still like, it don't matter. You can take a combination of
my
fried,
auntie.
and if you take that combination of chicken, it's still gonna hit. Now, sometimes it'll hit harder. You know, Popeyes will hit harder. I know Popeyes show love to the show, so gotta show love to them. So sometimes it'll hit harder, but it's still gonna hit. So when I talk about it, Bucky, yes. Could there be a better offensive coordinator? And we already trust Arthur Smith. Nobody's capable of. But the combination of Ryan Tannehill, who is a top 5 quarterback in the National Football League, the combination of, and you see it right there. And we don't show enough love to Ryan Tannehill, so I'm going to for the next 20 seconds. Ryan Tannehill, only quarterback who's top 5 as far as wins since he took over, passer rating, passing touchdowns plus rushing touchdowns total, and yards per attempt. Ryan Tannehill is a bona fide top 5 or at least top 7 quarterback in the National Football League, for those of y'all that fall in love with names and not actually play. So, Bucky, when I look at the combination of A.J., Julio, Tannehill, Derrick Henry, sure, they could be used better, but regardless, they still gonna hit and they still gonna score points.
Man, this wasn't a need as much as it was a hell of a want. Just telling you, and I've been there before. Look, Corey Davis leaves the building. Yeah, bringing in Julio Jones is amazing, but presence versus impact, that's where we disagree, Acho. Let me bore down this argument, make it really boring, and talk about the building blocks of football and talk complementary football. Just for a second, let's talk about why this is not going to have the huge impact. Their defense. Uh-oh. Did I go there? Did Tom Brady just tap me and say, hey, can you tell him about the other facets of the game? Because that's how I win them. The Tennessee Titans defense allowed over 30 points a game in half their games last year. And no other playoff team did that as many times and as many points. Okay, let's talk about their rankings last year. Scoring defense, 24th. Total defense, 28th. Yuck. Passing defense, 29th. Sacks, 30th. Yuck. Red zone touchdown percentage, which is important to those who played, 30th. And dead last in third down percentage, money down. Come on, y'all. Julio Jones gonna do what? Corey Davis was there doing something like Julio Jones, if not almost all of what you saw from Julio Jones last year. But let me give it to you like this. Acho, you love money, especially of late, because you're making a lot of it. So let's talk about $1 million.
Yes, sir.
1,000,000. Seen that before? Okay, $1 million. Now let's talk about the difference between presence and impact.
Okay.
You present $1 million to anybody, they should be like, that's a lot of money. You present Julio Jones to any team, be like, that's a balling receiver. But impact? Give $1 million to Acho today. He gonna be out tonight in them streets. I know my boy. Give $1 million to his homegirl, Oprah. She going to bed. Like, what else? Why you wake me up for this? That's the point. He going somewhere where Oprah looking like, oh, that's it. Corey Davis was here giving us the same amount of money. Coming up, Urban Meyer says it's uncharted waters for Tim Tebow. Tebow! Trying to make the Jags roster. Well, we'll tell you what his comments mean next as we make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches the right way, Acho. Friday, pro football continues with a great doubleheader of the Spring League on FS1. First, watch as the Blues battle the Generals at 7 Eastern. Then at 10, the Sea Lions take on the Jousters as they look to lock up the division title. Ballin'. Hard-hitting action kicks off Friday at 7 Eastern on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. Jousters. Let's head to Jacksonville with Jackson DeVille, where Tim Tebow is with the Jaguars. Yeah, but what about in September? Urban Meyer is reunited with his former college quarterback turned tight end and said he's, quote, one of the 90 trying to make the team. Meyer was recently asked about Tebow's chances to be on the team week 1. Take a listen.
What's the percentage of making the team? We don't know. This is uncharted waters. This is going to be very difficult. But he's been doing great. He's been doing great in practice. He's learning the offense. As you can imagine, he's working as hard as anybody. I see a good camaraderie amongst the team and Tim, and it's been good so far.
Bucky is back, but Acho, what do Urban Meyer's comments mean for Tim Tebow?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I think
Urban... Coming up?
What you got? I think, like, real talk, Urban is just trying to level both sides of our expectations. On one hand, he's trying to do this. He's trying to set our minds in case Tim Tebow does make the team. He's been looking really good. You know, he's been working his butt off, looks great in practice. But on the other hand, he's trying to temper our expectations in the event he doesn't make the team. Well, I've never been through this. We've never been through this kind of thing, so we just don't really know what to expect. His comments mean nothing. Tim Tebow, by talent, I've told y'all this, will be very hard-pressed to make the team. Now, y'all talk about, well, Tim Tebow's going to make the team because of jersey sales. Are you really going to promote the 33-year-old backup tight end, Tim Tebow, at the expense of Trevor Lawrence? Like, think of this for a second, and I'm just now thinking of it myself. Trevor Lawrence is a generational talent. In the same breath is Andrew Luck, John Elway, generational talent. And the sports world has not talked about the, 21-year-old, 6'5", prototypical freak generational talent quarterback because we've been so fixated on talking about the 33-year-old couldn't make it at quarterback, coming back to be a third-string tight end Tim Tebow. What is the point? All that to say, Urban's comments don't mean anything for Tebow. Urban has never had to cut a player. Even in college, after you sign your one-year letter of intent, they can't cut you, big dog. You Gucci. That's why cats stopped going to class, because that scholarship check is still going to cash. Urban Meyer's going to be put in a predicament. He's just talking that talk right now, but that talk means nothing.
No. I love this. I see it a little differently, Acho. I think what Urban Meyer is doing is he's using the media to speak to his team. He wants his team to know that everything that I'm saying in the team meeting, I'm saying to the masses. So when we talk about this is a situation where you have to earn everything, it's a meritocracy. The best players play. When he says that, he also has to say it to the media. So when he says, hey, I don't know if Tim is going to make it. Tim has to be one of the best on the squad. It is true because he wants his team to understand Tim Tebow is not getting a handout. However he came into the building, based on favors and cronyism and all that, that doesn't mean he's going to stay around. He's sending a clear message to his team and to Tim Tebow. Hey, you're going to have to earn one of these 53 spots to be on the squad. If not, I'm going to have to let you go. So it's a message to stay on point with his team that the best players are ultimately going to play.
I think Acho was closer to it, but he didn't hit bullseye either. I haven't played darts in a while. What's around the bullseye? What's right next to it right there? I don't know what that point percentage is. But here's the thing, Acho, you said nothing. Oh, so close. I say nothing bad because Tebow's making this team. I mean, first of all, you think my neighbor, Urban Meyer to Tim Tebow, my favorite college coach, my favorite college player, one of my best friends, I'm going to bring him in, bring all this hype, all this criticism, drag them through this, and then at the end, drop them off, say, I see you at home.
Yes.
Because we're neighbors.
Yes.
Hell no. But let me tell you who Urban Meyer is talking to. He's playing to the crowd right now, and he got to do this right now. He can't come out and say the obvious, I gifted him an opportunity, and I'm going to give him a damn job. He can't say that. So what he has to say is this. Well, he's like the other guys, one of the 90 trying to make the team. And so far, everything is looking good. But quietly, this is how it goes. He has told Tim Tebow, hey, I'm going to give you a chance. All you got to do is not mess it up. Now, when can Tim Tebow mess this up? Not in practice, not in OTAs, not even in preseason. Oh, but those games, those preseason games. I'm not even talking about training camp. Look a mess if you want, Tim Tebow. It doesn't matter. I made the team my first year. Didn't look good in training camp. But you get in those games, Tim Tebow, and this is the only thing that Urban Meyer is scared of. Tebow gonna mess this up. He gonna make me look bad. So here's the situation, simple. If Tim Tebow, all you gotta do is be better than the wet. And what's in that locker room right now in terms of tight end production? You keep saying this, Acho, he ain't got enough talent to make this roster. Boy, you ain't looked at these tight ends. Tim Tebow has enough to make this team as a tight end. I'm gonna go through it again. Luke Farrell, my man, 34 career receptions in college. Get out the way. Tyler Davis, second year from Georgia Tech, no career receptions. Get out the way. Ben Ellison, second year from North Dakota State, already undrafted, one career catch. Get out the way. Chris Manhurst, 6th year out of Canisius College, 12 career receptions. Get out the way. James O'Shaughnessy, that's the one. That's the one. He gonna make the squad. 7th year out of Illinois State, 88 career receptions. But if you do some simple math, you're gonna realize that ain't that damn impressive.
Pause.
No. 12 catches per year that averages. That's not one catch a game. dudes in trouble. And they ain't even gonna sell no jerseys. You gonna buy you an Ellison jersey? You gonna go sell some tickets with Ellison's name? I hate to pick on you, big dog, but you're in a room with Tim Tebow, and Tebow gonna win this.
Here's the problem, Sel. Give me the one you said is gonna make the roster. You said there's one. There's one you believed in.
James O'Shaughnessy.
Okay, bet. So give him that one.
I give him one.
Then Luke Farrell this year, the one with 34 catches you said first, was a 5th-round pick. But that could be irrelevant. Who recruited him in college? Where'd he go to college? Ohio State. Who recruited him? Urban Meyer.
Oh.
So he making a team, too.
Okay, so sorry, James O'Shaughnessy, you gone.
So now you got 2.
You gone.
I'm trying to tell y'all, even if Tebow makes the team or attempts to make the team, he's making the team as a 3rd-string tight end.
What's wrong with that?
Because as a 3rd-string tight end, that's not really how he's making the team.
You just said he's going to make the team.
He's making it as special teams player. Tebow's not being looked at as a tight end. He's being looked at as a special teams coordinator like, hey, big dog, how you running down on them kickoffs? You know, when you wear the and now in the league, you wear them GPS systems in the back of your jerseys. And the coaches look at the speed miles per hour gauge at the end of every practice, special teams coach, to see who's going down there. When you see everybody running 21 miles an hour, then you see Tebow running about 19.2, 19.5. He not gonna make it on teams. How do I know Tebow will run 19.5? Because the most I ran was 19.7. And at the combine, I ran faster than Tebow. So with all that being said, y'all, I love it. It's a great story. Tim Tebow is an incredible man. His biceps are gigantic. He lives doing them curls. But y'all, he's not gonna make that squad, man.
Okay, so look, here's the thing. I just sat here and said that Urban Meyer did everything to say it to the team. But here's the ultimate out that he has. The practice squad. The practice squad is now open to anybody, no matter the experience. So even if Tim Tebow is absolutely terrible, he can be on the practice squad for a few weeks before he gets the call back up. And
That's it.
I sat here and said it's a meritocracy, but he has more growth to make the roster than anybody else in the squad.
Bucky,
he's going to be a Jaguar. And that's
bingo. I was thinking that. I didn't want to get into
that. That's why you didn't say it.
I didn't want to get into the practice squad take because they changed the practice squad rules last year for COVID, so I don't even know the restrictions. Back when I was playing, it was only 4 or 5 years ago, you could be on practice squad until you played a certain amount of games. So I was no longer eligible to be on practice squad by like my 3rd year because I had played 20 or some games. I don't know if Tim Tebow is practice squad eligible, but if he is...
Oh, he is.
If he is, then I'm with you. Tim Tebow will make the team on practice squad. I'll give you that.
Look at y'all.
I'm with. I'll give you that.
Converted.
Bucky Brooks.
That was fast.
That's it.
I ain't even have to say a second take to get y'all already saying he making the team. Now it's practice squad.
Practice squad is you in the cupboard. Like it's when you put
I know what y'all
put
did.
that China, you just stash it somewhere. Like you don't know what practice squad is.
No, I didn't say I was on it.
You have to live that life. You don't have that hard working, blue collar, okay, bottom of the depth chart life. Stop acting like you can.
But I knew who those guys were. I saw them in the lunch line.
You ain't talk to them.
I know. I said, go get my food, fool. Go get my food, homeboy. That's why I talked to him. I can't believe y'all not riding this roller coaster with Urban Meyer. And he laughing because he's letting us do all the hype. Like, this is simple. All Tim Tebow has to do to make this team is not let another football hit him in the helmet when he runs that out route. And we all saw that one out route he ran with the Jets as a tight end, H-back, whatever the hell that was. And Tim Tebow, look, he robotic. We know it. I don't know who faster right now. I know who was faster back then, you. But right now, Tim Tebow might beat you. But here's the thing. Tim Tebow, when he got to run the out route, you can't give that to him, Urban Meyer. Not in the preseason. That's a deluxe route for him because the hips and the head got to snap around. Let me tell you why. Because the hips and the head got to snap around, and Tim Tebow ain't really a tight end like that, but he's better than these dudes. So the point is, Urban Meyer, don't mess it up. I've been here before. I wish athletes would stop playing the game and start playing the game within the game like Tim Tebow is and win at that game. Tim Tebow going to win at this game. I got a summer job, and it's just a parallel to this. And I got a summer job from the president of Paramount Pictures. Yeah, that's right. He was an alum of Columbia, so he was like, look, I'm going to give you a job. Now, I got one of those type of jobs that was better than those people working there in their careers. I was like, damn, he hooked me up. So all he told me was, don't mess this up. Don't make me look bad, right? But I did because I was young. So I was taking naps. I was working out inside there. I had a better job than all those people who were really accomplished. Oh, well, Tim Tebow don't have to be the best tight end. He just got to be better than the worst and not mess this up. And Urban Meyer going to hook him up. Coming up, the Nets won game 1, but they also lost. Tell you how much trouble they're in without James Harden. Next, speak for yourself. I told you he's going to make the team.
Practice squad.
Oh, it don't matter.
Practice squad.
Thank you, Usman, for claiming me. Acho left me out there on the island not knowing what to say. You're watching Speak for Yourself. Marcelo Swally, Nigerian. Emmanuel Acho, Nigerian pure. Let's hand to Brooklyn. I got 60%, they said. Game 1 got off to a bad start for the Nets Saturday when James Harden had to leave in the first minute with right hamstring tightness. Harden missed the rest of the game and has already been ruled out for tonight's game 2 against the Bucks. Nets got a combined 54 points from KD and Kyrie Irving to win. But Steve Nash says they are desperate for Harden to return to the lineup. Joined now by Fox NBA analyst Slick Rick the Bucher. But Acho, how much trouble are the Nets in?
I said Bucks in 6 before the series started. I'm keeping it Bucks in 6. Steve Nash is exactly right. They are desperate for James Harden to return. Don't let that game 1 fool you. The Bucks had their 3rd worst shooting percentage all season in game 1. Chris Middleton went 6 for 23, 0 for 5 from the three-point line. That will not happen again. Do not be bamboozled by game 1. The Nets without James Harden. Oh, we've seen this picture before. We saw it during the regular season because they have a big 3, but we look at some of the combinations of the big 3. You see, any combination that includes James Harden, whether it's Kyrie and Harden or KD and Harden, is collectively 19-3. If you have James Harden, you win games. But we've seen the combination of KD and Kyrie before. They were just 10-9. Now, a sample size of the regular season, extrapolate that and expand that in the postseason. You telling me KD and Kyrie are roughly 500, but any combination of Harden? And you 19-3 win 86% of the time? It's not coincidence, though, y'all. Next full screen. I tried to tell them, they didn't listen, but now they have to. James Harden is a conduit of success for this team. James Harden, as far as how many points he scores and how many points he contributes to, more than KD, more than Kyrie, and it's not even close, y'all. James Harden is the engine, the oil. He is what makes this team truly go as far as it has continued to go when it goes far. So, you lose James Harden, you lose the series, and more importantly, you lose your ultimate goal. Nets needs James Harden in the worst way.
Agree with you 100%, Acho. And James Harden is not only the most efficient and most capable offensive player, or has proved to be through the first round for the Nets, he proved to be that for the entire playoffs. His PER is greater than Kawhi Leonard's and Nikola Jokic's through the 6 games in the first round. So that ultimately is what they're losing. His offensive rating, also the best of any player in the playoffs. And yes, the Nets did win game 1, but they did so having to play Kyrie Irving 45 minutes and Kevin Durant nearly 40. They can't possibly expect to get through this series if they are going to have to lean on them that hard. We already know both of their injury histories. To suddenly ramp it up and ask them to do as much as they did, yes, the numbers look good as a result. But here's the catch to my point. The trouble is there. How big the trouble is and how quickly it hits is going to depend on what Mike Budenholzer does. In part because Mike James, a journeyman, filled in for James Harden. They're going to have to make adjustments there. But there are a few other things that he could do. So they're in trouble. How much trouble and how painful it is going to be decided by the Bucks head coach. And I'll save that for the next round because I really want to hear what Marcellus, which side of the fence Marcellus is on this, since
What's
he's
up,
been
Sal?
such a
Yeah.
unabashed Brooklyn Nets fan from the very start.
Look, it's Clippers-Nets in the finals. I told you that from day one. Once James Harden finally arrived in Brooklyn, I said, that team's coming out the East, and I told you all the time that the Clippers are coming out the West. So far, I still look genius. This team isn't better without James Harden, but the ball certainly moves more without James Harden. So, are they in trouble? Absolutely not. They still have too much firepower. I don't know if you remember this cartoon, Acho. Certainly, Slick Rick, you may because of your age and birth certificate, but there was a cartoon that used to have the Wonder Twins. And the Wonder Twins used to activate And they used to always activate and form, usually water in a pail or something, like just something to just destroy you. You got all these weapons. They say, form water pail. Now, water is most of this world. It's gentle, but it's also the strongest force, and it will destroy whoever they win against in this cartoon. Here's why I bring that up. Because when James Harden's out there, as Acho says, he's the conduit of success with this team. But when you lose a James Harden, and no one wants to lose a James Harden, but if there's a time to lose a James Harden, this may be the time. We're in the playoffs right now, and of the three amigos, which one has the least amount of playoff success? James Harden. Which one has the least amount of deep playoff success? James Harden. So when the Wonder Twins have to activate and a finals MVP multiple times has to look at another guy who's won a championship, they look at each other and they form the most deadliest force out there.
Right.
Now, I'm going to tell you why. The Nets won game one with those Wonder Twins going 4 for 15 from the three-point line. And you call that bamboozled? 26%? KD, Kyrie, and you acting like they can't get better? Oh, I'm not even going to get to how everyone else feels activated as Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin turned into Matthew Dellavedova overnight. He was on the ground more than anybody ever seen. That dude was diving, activated. Oh, I'm going to get my shine back, right? Out there having a postseason career game from the three-point line. All the little things because everyone else feels activated following the leadership of their Wonder Twins.
Big dog, that sounded brilliant, but it lacked the integrity of a take that was necessary to appease me and Slick.
Ooh.
Now, Sel, here's the first thing is first.
Okay.
Kevin Durant has never won a chip without another MVP on his roster. Shout out Steph Curry.
But he was the best.
Kyrie Irving
He was the best player.
has never won a chip without an MVP on his roster.
But he hit the
Shout
shot.
out LeBron
But he
James.
hit the shot.
Now, James Harden is an MVP. Now, I just told you KD ain't won without an MVP and Kyrie ain't won without an MVP, so the missing ingredient might actually be James Harden. But I digress.
Man, stop. Where his ring at?
The real point
I like what you did there.
Yeah, you see how he twisted that thing?
The real point is this, though, Sel. Like, you can't expect Kyrie to go for 45 minutes, like Slick said.
Oh, really?
For KD to go for 40 minutes, and KD in the regular season didn't play more than 7 consecutive games, and think that won't have lingering effects. Marcellus Wiley, I got to see my dog on camera, please. He ran track. He ran track at the highest level through the age of 12. But he ran track at a high level. And to Slick's point, your kinetic chain, Slick, can be off in track. Your hips cannot be aligned, and thus your feet won't hit the ground at the exact same time. You might not feel it day one. It might not affect you at all. You can still blaze to a national record time. But eventually, Marcellus, as you know better than anybody, if that kinetic chain is off and you start pulling a little harder with one hip or pulling a little harder with one leg, then you'll look out and you'll be like, man, why can I not function? And you'll end up in the training room because something is off. Slick, you made the point. I brought it in analogy form. Yes, the Nets got through one game. But eventually, when that kinetic chain is off, which it is because there is no Harden, you're going to look up and Kyrie going to be out or KD going to be out, or they're just going to be off like we saw Luka was in the fourth quarters of games because they are fatigued and not functioning properly.
Well said, and thank you for taking me there, Acho, because, Marcellus, you mentioned your Clippers, and I see a lot of similarities in this series to that one now as far as where the Nets find themselves. Mavs came out and looked strong out of the gate, winning the first 2 games. Luka Doncic looked like he was the man in those first 2 games. But there was an accumulation of the wear down because of everything that he had to do. Now, here is the key, is that Ty Lue looked at it and said, I can't play big. I can't play Ivica Zubac. I got to play small and run 5, 6, 7 guys out there that are interchangeable and can all hit the 3. Brook Lopez in game 1 had the worst defensive rating of any player. The Nets took advantage of him. He's going to have to make the decision that Ty Lue made and say, I got to change up. I gotta make a change in my rotation and in my starting lineup in order to match up because we're playing a different game here. We've got to be able to shoot the 3 and we've got to be able to switch on defense. So this is the question. How quickly does Bud go to that? How quickly does he flip the switch that Ty Lue did in his series? And if he does that, the Nets really don't have an answer. Immediately going from James Harden to Mike James, who played all of 13 regular season games with the Nets and was playing in China or somewhere overseas the last 2-3 years. In the big picture, ultimately the Bucks can expose that. So it's a matter of getting the game tonight, but then making some changes and realize that you can adjust. The Bucks have that capability. The Nets simply don't. They're what you saw in game one is what they've got to ride with, and they've got to ride on it hard. And we saw exactly what happened to the Mavs when they had to go by the same game plan.
Man, we have been reduced to this, hoping and wishing. Boy, y'all are funny. I know, Slick, your first take, you said, I just want to see which side of the fence Marcellus is on. Well, you can't see me because I'm not on the fence, and I'm not even close to the fence. I am gone over there planting the flag that says Nets versus Clippers. So you won't see me. I ain't like y'all over there ripping my Levi's on the fence, trying to climb both sides. Here's the thing. You know we got reduced to something of hopes and wishes. When we hear statements like this, and I love me some Acho, but damn it, we're hoping for failures in the kinetic chain now. You know, that's what's going to happen. And y'all talking about, oh, it's going to break down. Did Luka break down or did he slow down? Sucker had 46 and 14. He didn't break down. He kind of slowed down in the fourth quarters. But to your point, Slick, that's the only way you can attack him. But that doesn't mean that plan of attack will succeed. I remind people that the Milwaukee Bucks are going to be in their own heads. Let's just be real about this. Like, once they face adversity, they will face two opponents, the Nets and their history of failure in these same moments. Do they have enough help for Giannis? Be real about it. Chris Middleton, sometimes we call him a star. We know he's an all-star, but sometimes we call him a star, and sometimes we're like, we throw shade at him. 13 points in game one without James Harden on the court, when you know that's a prime opportunity to take advantage. Drew Holiday scored 17 on 7 for 19 shooting without James Harden there. In their own heads as well. You look at all of this in summation, they went out there and had one arm tied behind their back, going against a team that had won their first-round series in a sweep by 20-plus points average. That team had all the momentum in the world, saw them right there in the water, bleeding, leaking, and still couldn't take advantage of it. But y'all see this series changing going forward? I think that the Milwaukee Bucks are still right here trying to figure this out. Coming up, the Lakers are out of the playoffs. Why did I say that with a smile? But their GM wants to keep the core group together. What? Tell you if that's a good idea next. Don't speak for yourself.
The Lakers are out of the playoffs, unfortunately, after their first-round loss to the Suns. But what about next season? The Lakers only have 5 players under contract, including LeBron James and Anthony Davis. But their general manager, Rob Pelinka, has no plans on blowing up the entire roster. Y'all, take a listen.
I'm convinced that, again, without some of the unforeseen circumstances this year of the challenges that we had to face, that we'd be a championship caliber team. So the goal is to try to keep that core group together.
Slick Rick is back with us, but Sel, is keeping the core group the right approach for the Lakers?
No, not if they want to win going forward. It's not. You just can't go into this offseason thinking staying put with your core group is going to be enough. You're going to have a 37-year-old LeBron James, year older, and hope that AD can stay healthy, and that's your campaign message? That's what you're going to sell to the fans? That's what you're going to sell to yourself? Come on. Let's extend the core. Let's talk about this core. And Kuzma, who signed for 2 more seasons going forward, but Kyle Kuzma averaged 6 points a game in this series, shooting 17% from 3. Oh, that's bad, but, you know, people have off nights from the three-point line. How about 29% from the field? That's the core. A hope on AD's health, LeBron getting older and picking even more of his spots in terms of being selective when he plays full LeBron mode. And then you get Kyle Kuzma, who you can't count on. I'm sorry, man. When you look at the other teams that's going to be in your way, you just lost to one in the Phoenix Suns. But you look at the Western Conference, you look at the NBA as a whole, teams, when they get injured, whether we could talk about an Embiid, we could talk about a Harden, we could talk about a CP3, we could talk about Anthony Davis. You notice one thing about those other teams? When those guys get hurt, they still either win or advance. You guys are one play away, sounds like one player away from all of this collapsing on you. So, no, there's no way this core group can get it done going forward. by itself. It needs some additions.
Co-signed completely. First question got to be answered, though, is who is the core group? The only Lakers that I would want to return at the role in which they played, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Schroeder, and Alex Caruso. Only those four do I want in the role in which they played. I don't mind Schroeder coming back starting at point. Ain't got no issue with that at all. You don't need to be the second or third best player on the team, but I don't mind you coming back at point. Caruso, don't mind you being an eighth man off the bench. Incredible hustle player. LeBron James and AD, obviously, y'all know what that is. But Sal hit the nail on the head. The core group got to have some additions. I look at it like this, you all. Destiny's Child. Y'all remember there used to be four people, Kelly Rowland, Beyonce Knowles, LaToya Luckett, Latavia Robertson. That was a four. They kept the core group together. They kept Beyonce and Kelly, but they made an addition in Michelle. See, I'm with you, Sal, as far as keep LeBron James, Beyonce, and keep Anthony Davis, Kelly. But y'all gotta go find you a third member. I already said it could be Dame. I said it could be Bradley Beal, but you have to go find a third member. I don't know who you want to call the core group. I can call the core group those two individuals, those two superstars, but you better go find you a third like Destiny's Child did.
You guys are overreacting.
How?
Before LeBron James and Anthony Davis got hurt, this team was the second seed in the Western Conference, and they had the number one defense all year long. They were the second seed in spite of the fact that their offense wasn't one of the best. It was in the bottom 20. So there is the question of health. But Tavis Caldwell-Pope and Dennis Schroeder were on my all-defensive team. And Anthony Davis, we know what he can do defensively. This team was able to hang its hat on something special and utilize it. And so when I look at what they have, you're right, Acho, in saying, so what's the core? Well, I think we've identified the core. The problem with this team were the ancillary pieces, were the pieces that they changed out last summer. And then when the injuries hit, Montrezl Harrell and Marc Gasol and Wes Matthews couldn't carry the water. They couldn't do what they didn't actually, that Dwight Howard and the complementary pieces didn't have to do the year before because they didn't run into these injuries. But the fact of the matter is those guys were left wanting. So do they need to make some changes to this team if they want to make another run? Yes, without question. But do they need to change the core of this team? I believe, Acho, in a way, you were saying they don't, because you basically named the core and said you were good with it. They just need to make some changes. I'm just going to answer the question, which is, can they go forward with the core? And if that's the question, the answer is yes, they can go forward with this core.
But Slick, the question, then I'll ask you, who do you say the core is? Who is the Lakers' core?
I say the core is LeBron James.
Yep.
Anthony Davis,
of course.
Dennis Schroeder.
Cool.
I would keep Markieff Morris, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope for sure.
Why?
What's that?
Why you gonna keep Morris? You didn't say Marcus Morris. You said Markieff, right? You said Markieff, right? That one?
Fair. I will stay with Markieff and I'll stay with Alex Caruso.
But here's the problem.
That's my core.
Here's the issue, Slick, and that's why I said I only want four in the role in which they played. You think KCP can start as a two on a championship team? Is that true? Like,
yes,
when you
do.
look at the twos in the West, when you look at what Dame is doing, when you look at what Book is doing, when you just look across what Murray's doing when he's healthy, what Spidey will do, when you look at some of the twos or some of the hybrid 1-2s, the point shooting guards, and then you gonna roll KCP out there when they rolling Booker out there? You gonna roll KCP out there when they roll Murray out there? You gonna roll KCP out there when they roll PG out there? I'm like, Slick, you bringing a spoon to a fight that has all types of grenades, rocket launchers, AKs, and you coming out here with a wooden spoon.
Okay, so
making no sound
how many of those guys? How many of those guys have titles? Because I know KCP has a title, and I know he shot the hell out of it in the bubble, shot like 40% from three.
Bubble.
And as I said, he was as good defensively. Look, he was hurt this year. He played injured this year. He wasn't the same KCP. So I can roll with him. The key here, and this is kind of the trick to this entire question, because it really hangs on LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And where I have a problem with what Rob Pelinka said is that he said, we ran into unforeseen circumstances. Look, we know Anthony Davis's history. We know LeBron James is 36 years old.
Hello.
The fact that those guys got hurt at this point after making a run to the finals last year and having a short off season, that's not unforeseen. That's practically predictable. But unless you're going to take the extreme move and say, we are blowing it all up. You know what, LeBron? Thank you for getting us a ring. Your time is done. We're going to start rebuilding this bad boy right now. We're going to get off Anthony Davis. We're going to move Kyle. We're going to change this whole thing. If you're not going to do that, your best option for making one more run at a title is to try to capture the magic that you had last year and hope that LeBron and AD can stay healthy. Because with a healthy LeBron and AD, KCP was more than serviceable as your two guard.
Man, it worked for Obama. Maybe it worked for you. Hope. You got him elected. You over here, hope. Hope ain't gonna work in sports when these cats are bringing out young guns. As you said, you keep coming with that hope spoon. Pew, pew. These cats are putting out
buckets. Bucket coming out here with AKs and
what else do I have?
And they young.
What do I have?
No, they can run as fast as the weapons they shooting. These young dudes are gonna run up and down the court on LeBron at 37 and AD with one leg. It's gonna be a problem. You act like the tendinosis is getting better. I told you the tendinosis is gonna lead itself to everything.
Not again, Dr. Wiley.
I'm not gonna. Dr. Wiley.
Yeah, I know, no kidding.
I'll wear my gangster suit when I'm Dr. Wiley.
You're making tendinosis sound like the bubonic plague. Like it's over.
Influenza,
It's over. He should just retire.
I mean, the greatness of AD with consistency and longevity may have retired right before your very eyes, but let me get to that. I got a little gumbo right here, so that means I got a lot of ingredients, a lot of layers. Let's talk about this. First, let me push back on you, Acho.
What I do?
Because you talking about, I ain't mad if you run Dennis Schroeder back out there point guard.
I'm not
you
mad
want to
at
know
that.
who is mad? Who I think I'm going to trust more than you? Magic Johnson. Oh, quote, Dennis Schroeder failed. He said he failed. Magic said that. Mr. PC Magic said he failed. Also said, I don't think he's a Laker. But you and Magic, since y'all see each other over brunch on random Sundays, y'all talk that through. Also, you said LeBron is still the queen bee? Beyonce? Not in this group. Sorry, LeBron, you are Kelly Rowland. Respect to both of them, because they both in my fam. I see you at school. But LeBron ain't the queen of this show. In this show, Anthony Davis is the one that's going to lead them to anywhere. You know why? Because I bring up Slick's point. Slick, you're going to give me this old hopeful statement. Well, the Lakers were second in the West before blank got hurt. You know what's funny about that statement? I heard it before. And what's the definition of insanity? By doing the same old thing and expecting a different result. This year is before AD got hurt. Look at the Lakers. Then last year, they win the bubble. They win the bubble championship. What about in 2019? What did we hear? Here goes Slick. Well, before LeBron got hurt, they were fourth in the West. Hey, bruh, LeBron is getting old. AD can't stay healthy. The problem with this is the only thing that survived and saved them last year, they had 5 months off for a break. So LeBron didn't have to show his age. AD didn't have to show his injury history. Outside of that, you got a non-playoff team, you got you a team that was one and done in the playoffs, and you got you a bubble championship. Do I got a full screen right here to end this? Because I think I'm just going to stamp this. Let's look at this full screen right here. For y'all who are not trying to put together exactly the results of these teams with the names, let me do it for you. You're looking at teams that can't shoot from the three-point line. Why does that matter? Because it's a three-point game right now. So I'll see 4 one-and-done teams and one team that can't even beat a team without their point guard in James Harden in game 1. Point being, the Lakers just have too many issues to roll it out the same way. But hey, nothing wrong with being insane if you expect a different result. Coming up, Floyd Mayweather. Oh, hell, my favorite topic today.
Says the Clippers fan. Oh, my.
Hey, Floyd went the distance with Logan Paul Sunday, but we'll tell you if the all-time great should be embarrassed. Who asked that? Next, speak for yourself. Floyd Mayweather fought YouTube star Logan Paul Sunday, and my daughter's favorite, and it actually went the distance. 8-round exhibition fight had no judges, and no official winner. But Mayweather landed 43 punches to Paul's 28. Floyd had a big payday, reportedly making $10 million guaranteed and 50% of the pay-per-view buys. Wow. So, Acho, should Floyd Mayweather be embarrassed after going the distance with Logan? Not Jake, Logan Paul.
I'm happy to rap with you about this one because you have an interesting take, and I'm excited to hear, but let me get mine off first.
Get it off.
No, he shouldn't be embarrassed. And he shouldn't be embarrassed because if y'all were listening or paying any attention, you got to understand, Floyd Mayweather doesn't necessarily care about the things y'all care about. Floyd Mayweather at the introductory press conference said, yes, I retired from boxing, but I did not retire from making money.
Boom.
Floyd Mayweather just trying to make money, y'all. He's trying to make money. And he's doing that really better than just about anybody else. When you talk about he made $10 million guaranteed, and he made 50% of the pay-per-view sales. I don't know if you watched the fight, I bought the fight, so it took 50% of my money off that sale. With that being said, Floyd Mayweather is in the business of making money. People were talking about his legacy, and it would be tarnished if he got knocked out. It would be tarnished if he tripped and fell. One, even if he lost, he won. Because even if he were to lose, he would do a rematch and charge a bigger purse, and then it would be even bigger because Logan Paul would have knocked out Floyd, and Floyd is coming back for vengeance. Floyd could not have lost. There is no combination yesterday for Floyd Mayweather to lose unless he knocked Logan Paul out.
Now you're talking.
If you knock Logan Paul out, now all of a sudden, well, that's no fun. That's no fair. We can't do that again. Floyd Mayweather walked out that ring having barely broken a sweat compared to Floyd Mayweather in a typical boxing match of 8 rounds, and is probably $50 to $100 million richer. Floyd should not be embarrassed at all.
Man, I just don't understand Floyd Mayweather critics when it comes to him doing this exhibition and this circuit. And he will continue to do this circuit. Let me just excuse those boxing purists that are reaching 100 years old, hopefully. And I will let them sit around and just yell at me and say, get off their lawn. But for everybody else out there who ain't holding on to the purest of the integrity of the sport, shut up, you haters. What are y'all talking about? Y'all are Morton Salt pure grade A haters. Because y'all don't like the money that money is making. Here's the thing. Let me give you a little history lesson first. I did a panel with Floyd. The first time I got to see Floyd face-to-face and actually talk to him was I was doing a panel. Don't ask me why I was on this panel, but it was Layla Ali, Floyd Mayweather, myself, and somebody else. But I was 4th place. Let's just say that. But I'm there. And he was not Money Mayweather. He was Pretty Boy Floyd, undefeated as he was as Money Mayweather. But all he was doing was getting everyone's respect. And I knew it. We talked. He had on sunglasses, 947 gold chains, 20,000 rings, everything to just say, hey, I am the man. But he was getting nothing but respect. And all of a sudden, he made a transition from respect to the check. And Money May came out. What were the ingredients to being Money May? 1, you still got to be undefeated. You still got to be the top dog. 2, be polarizing. Oh, I know how to get it. And he got the recipe from when he had to fight Oscar De La Hoya. And everyone saw the Golden Boy and was like, we love the... You could do no wrong. Who's Floyd? Pretty boy. We don't care about him. And all of a sudden, he saw what it was. If I could keep these people loving me or loving to hate me, I'm going to make more than everybody. And he surpassed even the Golden Boy, not only in the ring, but also in earnings. Pretty Boy Floyd became Money May on purpose. But let me talk to people about athletes in general, because I like to come up here and decode what athletes can't say. Empirically, it's always about money. Always about money. But egotistically, we're going to say it's about winning. We're going to get to that podium because we want to empower the people. We want to say we're on this journey together. Oh, we all going to try and pull this thing together to get to the top. But let somebody in the pursuit of a championship not get their money. See if they still pulling in that championship route. They not. So Floyd made the best decision for himself and for his legacy, to actually have a legacy that has receipts. Remember, he is Floyd Mayweather Jr., his father, good to great fighter. What were his receipts? Nothing. I could teach you the sport at 4 years young, but guess what? Daddy ain't got it like that. But son, you got what I got in me and DNA, but you can also go get it. And Floyd is doing the best thing for him. So all you purists out there, y'all can miss me with this one, because he ain't done doing this.
But I'll say I understand it.
Oh, you got a problem?
Remember, we talked to Usman. 2 weeks ago, whatever it was. Kamaru Usman, pound for pound, baddest UFC fighter there is out there. And it was one of the Paul brothers were attempting to fight him.
Yes.
Essentially trying to lure him into the check. And Usman was like, I would not violate my sport by fighting you in this manner. There are some people and some athletes and some fans who I do understand, like, you know what? Going out here and fighting someone who has not earned the stripes is a disservice to my sport.
Oh, stripes.
However, with Floyd is worried about money. He's not worried about integrity. He's not worried about how the sacrilegious it is to box a non-boxer. He's worried about the check. But I do think this, Sel. You can box and it not be entertaining. You can entertain without boxing. I think the climactic moment is when you see both. I think so many people were up in arms yesterday because they felt as though that was entertaining, but it was not, quote unquote, boxing. Floyd Mayweather said at the end of the fight, he's like, yo, if I can go out there and entertain for $50 million, that's cool. He was entertaining. I think people want to see both traditional boxing, as you would say, along with entertaining. So I do understand the purists. I do understand the argument, but I also understand Floyd. Floyd's about his coins. The purists are about being pure and boxing. And there's a dichotomy there that if you sit on one side of the fence, you're not going to the other side.
It's not a dichotomy in my world. It's me and the dummy on the other side. That's what it is. I'm not respecting the other side. Let me tell you why. I hate when they come with this purist argument. See, I did a show with Max Kellerman too damn long. So all of his boxing knowledge started to leak on me. And I started to be like, oh, I didn't know that layer. I know what I can Google. I know what I've seen. I didn't know that depth. Do y'all know that Muhammad Ali did exhibitions? Do y'all know that Sugar Ray Robinson, the greatest fighter of all time, most would say, if you don't want to give Floyd his props, did exhibitions? Oh, so you purists, what happened? Because y'all ain't going to talk trash about Ali. Y'all ain't going to talk trash about Sugar Ray Robinson, but y'all going to talk trash about Floyd. He said, love me or love to hate me. I got you both. And y'all don't even know the traps y'all falling into. So don't talk about disservice to sport. And don't talk about legacy. Legacy, properly defined, is what other people think of you when you dead. Who give a damn what you think about me when I'm alive? And certainly when I'm dead, I don't give a damn about you. So y'all try to run this trickery on Floyd because y'all ain't got no money. Usman, I respect fully. I respect that man, but I think he's a little off on this one. You want to know why? There's a tweet from Francis Ngannou, if I said your name correctly, because I know you can whip my ass. But in his tweet, he said, it's crazy to think that Logan Paul just made $20 million on the boxing exhibition. What are we doing wrong? Exactly. That's why I say there's something wrong. What we're seeing right now is another business model come right before our eyes, and it's now becoming mainstream. Floyd has beaten everybody who wanted to fight him in the real boxing ring as a pure boxer. All of them. Now, you can say it was calculated, it was timely on his behalf, whatever. He dictates terms, but he whooped them all. Now he's saying, I'm going to pivot into a world where I'm going to make money, be an entertainer, but y'all know y'all can't whoop me. And this is the beauty of what Floyd is doing. He's going to always make money doing it this way. He's telling the average Joe, the guy next door, the YouTuber sensation, come and take a shot at the king. Take a shot at the GOAT. You ain't gonna win, but I'm gonna make everybody think you got a shot. Oh, he was so close. So he gonna carry every single one of them. And there's video out of him even carrying Logan Paul in this one. Hit him with something that looked like it knocked him down. He held him up like, nah, B. Point being, Floyd knows the motto. I'm sorry that people don't want to give him his credit, his flowers, his due for being genius. Because too many athletes play the game and don't play the game within the game. Win the game within the game, or unless you want to be on the next episode of Broke, talking about how much respect and how great your legacy is. Floyd said, I saw that already. I'm not going through that again.
But it's tricky because you said...
It ain't tricky.
You said, one, I co-signed you everything on legacy. People was like, oh, well, he'd ruin his legacy. What legacy? He don't care. He care about these coins. Talk about legacy. He's 50-0. If he loses to Logan Paul, we'd be like, oh, he lost to Logan Paul. And
it doesn't even count.
It don't count. It don't matter. Ali took L. People took L's. It does not matter.
So silly.
But I will, though, say, because Ngannou says, what are we doing wrong? The kicker is people pay to be entertained.
Yeah.
Sports, you get paid to be entertaining. Logan Paul, say what you will about him. He has over 5 billion YouTube views. So he's entertaining. The kicker isn't just, people don't necessarily pay to see a fight. People don't necessarily see a basketball game. They pay to be entertained. And I will say, regardless of how anybody feels about anything, Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather, plus Migos, They were entertaining last night.
Bingo!
Coming up, the Packers say the situation with Aaron Rodgers has divided the fan base. We'll tell you how Rodgers should feel about that. Next, speak, please.
Insane.
Let's head to Green Bay, where by all accounts, Aaron Rodgers wants out and the Packers are not budging. The reigning MVP missed OTAs and could lose $93,000 if he misses a Packers mandatory minicamp, which starts tomorrow. Now, Green Bay president and CEO Mark Murphy talked about the impact of what's going on with their star quarterback. Saying, quote, "The situation we face with Aaron Rodgers has divided our fan base. The emails and letters that I've received reflect this fact. We are working to resolve the situation and realize that the less both sides say publicly, the better." I don't know why he's saying that publicly then. So, Marcellus, how should Aaron Rodgers feel about the Packers' dividing fan base statement?
Oh, man, I'm torn like the fan base is. Look, Aaron Rodgers in perception in this expensive-ass game of chicken he's playing right now, he shouldn't give a damn. He got to fake it till he make it, right? He got to act like, I don't care. But in reality, he should be concerned. He should be worried because he's doing what Brett Favre did. He's basically giving back some of that hard-earned equity that he built himself. Wow. To imagine to build a bridge and build the bridges that the great Aaron Rodgers has in that community and just to tear them down just because you couldn't lock yourself in a room and come out with mutual respect. Not liking the other person, not liking your situation fully, because no situation is perfect, but just mutual respect to pull in the same direction going forward. Woo! It's interesting because you remember when Brett Favre and the Ring of Honor and how delayed his return was back to Green Bay, in part because of how it all played out at the end. And at the end, like, we're in this volume of this saga, and right now, this is how it's going to end. It's kind of sad to me because I think they're going to come to a resolution. Cooler heads will prevail. And then all of a sudden, once you come to that moment of agreement, some people won't let go of this moment that Aaron Rodgers burned these bridges. So it depends on what you're doing. Are you really about this, or is this just some kind of leverage play employed to try and get more power? Either way it goes, some people are off the Aaron Rodgers train.
Yeah, I don't think Aaron Rodgers should care, though, about people being off the Aaron Rodgers train. He shouldn't care about the divided fan base statement or dividing the fan base. Mark Murphy, you and Gutekunst, y'all divided the locker room when you drafted a quarterback in the first round while Aaron Rodgers was still there, and now we know in his prime. Y'all are dividing the locker room by not necessarily figuring the situation out with Aaron Rodgers just as much as he's accountable for the dividing the locker room. The locker room, by the way, is much more important than the fan base because the locker room and winning on the field dictates the fan base continually growing. So Aaron Rodgers shouldn't care about this little guilt trip statement, dividing the fan base. Like, that's all you're dividing the fan base. And,
good point.
Owners, CEOs, managers, y'all divide a fan base every year when y'all release star players. Julio Jones just got released. Maybe the Falcons' greatest, if not one of their greatest receivers of all time. I'm not thinking historically, but I would assume he's the Falcons' greatest receiver of all time off the top of my head, not including tight ends like Tony Gonzalez, etc. So people make decisions to divide a fan base all the time. Don't try to guilt trip Aaron Rodgers now that he's a player maker.
Man, that was a perfect take right there. Nothing's perfect. I already said that in my take. So here's the one part I got to push back. No locker room was divided over them drafting Jordan Love. You want to know why? Because no one voted for Jordan Love once he got in that locker room. You think you got to vote? Nobody was voting for that one. Coming up, Kawhi Leonard. They had my Clippers to the second round. Yip, yip, hooray. We'll tell you if they're in the driver's seat to win the West. Next on Speak for Yourself. Jordan, who? What? Let's get back to my Clippers. The show is going to start again. They won Game 7 last night behind Kawhi Leonard's 28 points. Next up, they're on the road tomorrow against the number 1 seeded Jazz. After Sunday's win, Ty Lue said his squad, my squad, is battle-tested now. Adding, quote, I think Dallas did a great job of preparing us for the next series. That's right. So, Acho, are my Clippers in the driver's seat to win the West?
On paper, you got to say yes, because on paper, they're the only team in the West with a starter who's won an NBA championship in Kawhi Leonard. They're the only team remaining left in the West with a coach who's won an NBA championship in Ty Lue. So on paper, it all looks good. The reason I'm not going to give it to you just yet, though, Sel, is...
Because you're a hater.
No.
Excuse me.
No. The Clippers play with their food too much, and you would admit that as well.
True.
They play with their food too much. Damn. No reason last year that the Mavs should take y'all to 6. No reason this year that the Mavs should take y'all to 7. No reason last year that you should be up 3-1 against the Nuggets and then somehow lose that. Stop playing with your food, big dog. When you got them down, go ahead and end it. The Clippers, you can't afford to do what you did to the Mavs because every team going forward is going to be better. The remaining seeds are the 1, 2, 3, and 4 seed. The 5, 6, 7, 8, they gone. So now everybody is better than the opponent you just faced. And not only is everybody better, every team still got to score. You still got to deal with Book. You still got to deal with Spidey. You still got to deal with the Joker whenever you see them, if you happen to see them.
Yeah.
Every team still has a scorer. So I don't think that they're in the driver's seat because I still believe that they are missing that one ingredient, that vocal leadership. I know you don't like rah-rah guys. I get that. Nobody likes a rah-rah guy. Yeah. But I do like if my best player or players are my loudest leaders.
Yeah. Them actions speak loud, though. Speak louder than the words.
Them actions be yelling.
Boy, let somebody sorry try to get me pumped up versus a quiet beast. I'll listen to the quiet beast every time because he's going to give me buckets. Yes, we're in the driver's seat. Do you ride motorcycles? Ever got into that kind of phase? Rough riders. Respect. Rest in peace, DMX. You know? No?
No, sir.
Me either. But let me say one thing about it. We're on a motorcycle right now, and most motorcycles actually are two-seaters, right? But imagine I had a bike, and then I said, Acho, get on here, let's ride. Utah, better seed than us. You getting on? I ain't getting on a bike with no dude in front of me. No, I ain't holding on to my hips on the 405. You imagine us? That'd be a good show. Anyway, that's chemistry right there. That's how you build it. Here's the thing. We on a bike, and yeah, I could throw Utah in there. Yeah, you saying going forward, there's going to be other teams that try to jump on there. But they ain't really there. They don't want to be there. They don't want to see us with our dynamic duo and our depth. Only team in the West to have 2 starters averaging more than 20 points. So where's all this production going to come from? You can say Luka almost beat you by himself. Yeah, but almost ain't good enough. And we calculated that Luka was going to get his, and we were going to shut down the rest. Did we shut down the rest? Clippers held the Mavs bench to just 6 points. Season worse when it mattered most. Here's the thing about the Clippers. Because we have so many options, sometimes it's paralysis by analysis. Sometimes we play with our food, like my son MJ. He plays with all this food. Has a small palate, only like chicken wings, and he calls it bone. He only like bone and french fries. That's it. No matter what we do. We went to McDonald's yesterday at a party. Somebody had McDonald's Happy Meals. I'm like, dog, they got toys in there, cheeseburgers. Ain't no bone in there. He ain't want it. So here's the thing about the Clippers. They look at all these other teams. It's like, we could beat you at the top, Kawhi, PG. We could beat you at the bottom. We could throw Kennard out there and just shoot your lights out. No other team has as many options. It may be play with your food sometimes, but also it's just a death by 1,000 paper cuts.
But if the Clippers play how they played against the Mavericks, they will not win any of the series going forward. Because the Suns are a better team, the Nuggets are a better team, and the Jazz are by far a better team.
But time out. We're not playing in the forest anymore. 7'6" Boban. 7'3" Porzingis, 6'8" guard. Like, what the hell? We knew we couldn't go big on big with them. So we sat Boogie down. We said, look, I'm sorry, Patrick Beverly, you certainly can't play. We're just going to go out there and play with the lineups. Ty Lue deserves all the flowers in this moment for playing with the lineup, but also sticking with what he knew would work. I don't see another team that matches up as well against us as that team. They're not the best players, but, dog, you can't fight that physics. 7'6", 7'3", 6'8", and it's Luka. Too much for a minute. Coming up is Dame time over in Portland. Oh, I'll tell you if the Blazers should move on from their superstar. That's next on Speak for Yourself.
The Blazers are feeling the effects of their first-round exit. Head coach Terry Stotts was fired after 9 seasons, and according to the reports, several NBA teams are, quote, intensely monitoring what's going on in Portland to see if there's an opening to make trade offers for Dame Lillard. So, Sal, should the Blazers go ahead and move on from Damian Lillard?
Yep, new evidence, new response for me. It's time to move on, Dame. You're not going to get what you want. When he wanted Jason Kidd, he explicitly said, I want Jason Kidd. And Jason Kidd immediately responded by saying, I'm going to take my name out of consideration for the Portland job. It's a wrap. You can't appease him. He's not going to get what he wants because nobody really wants to go up there. So it's time for Dame to pack his bags and go.
I co-sign that. I look at it a little differently, though. I'm like, y'all got a good number 2 in CJ. Y'all got a good number 3/4 in Nurk. He gives you 20 and 10. I know he hasn't been great, but he's been good. Y'all gonna try to replace your number 2, your number 3, your number 4, your number 5, or you just replace the star player, try to get some more cumulative pieces and figure things out because Dame don't want to be there no way.
This was strike 1, 2, and 3 in one swing. Out. You know why? Baseball players do all this. It was a pop fly. Sorry, Dame. You better get out, too. That's it for us. Fox Bet Live next.